lost the little foxes. They're feasting on our vine. They're
Welcome
cruel,
to
they're hard,
2026.
What is going
they're
on,
playing
people?
tricks on
Happy
Yeah.
New Year to everyone out there. We are way behind schedule.
Listen, I can't even believe it's 2026.
I'm so glad it is.
It's January 14th. It's already been 14 days.
Yeah, well, 25 was horrible.
Yes.
So 26 has got to be better. I mean, I don't know if there's more of the bottom of the barrel that we can get to. So 26 is going to be better. We're going to manifest it. We're going to pray about it and expect it from the Lord.
Okay, manifest sounds like some kind of new age thing.
Well, I was meaning in the most godly sort of way. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to trust the Lord that it is going to be better. And I pray that our listeners, if you're listening and you had a crap hole 2025, hey, listen, it can only go up, I think.
Yes,
Get
it
better,
has to. I don't know
hopefully.
what else can happen.
Yeah.
26
So,
has got to.
so looking forward to this year and all that God um,
Yep.
is going to do in our lives and hopefully our
Yeah.
listeners'
Absolutely. I want you
lives.
guys to prosper, live long and prosper. I want you guys to be happy with yourselves and happy with your families. If 25 repeats itself this year, I'm going to go to an island as long as it has Wi Fi. I'm good. Got power, Wi Fi, and water. I'm all right. I can do
Food
that.
would be nice. Anyway,
Hey, well, you can catch food. You don't like fish. Never mind.
I would learn to like fish if that was my only option. Yeah, so I
Okay,
thought we just
so
turn this on and just see what comes out.
okay,
No,
sounds
I was
good.
just kidding.
Of course, you was like, what? That's new.
No, I mean we should do that sometime. We should just turn it on and see like what happens, and then hey, it goes wherever God wants it to go. But actually, what we
Absolutely.
were thinking today was talking about, creating a really purposeful life, and so like vision casting as a couple, and where are we actually going?
That's right. Because here's what I've noticed out of couples these days, especially the younger couples, is they get married and
Hmm.
they think that everything is just going to fall into place.
Yeah,
We're
right.
married. Our parents were married for like 40 bazillion years, and we're just going to have the same kind of marriage our parents did. In some cases. Now, there's other cases, the kids are like, no, we're not going that way. But it's not that way. It's work.
Well, I even think that I'm just gonna be honest. I think so many people get married today, and in the back of their mind, they're probably thinking we're just probably gonna get divorced someday anyway. Because
Yeah.
everybody gets divorced. I
Everybody
mean,
gets divorced.
I feel like the institution of marriage is not even recognized as a true covenant, which is what it
Right.
is. A covenant, the way that covenant works, you don't actually get out of covenant unless you die.
Absolutely. That's right.
So if you really think about marriage that way, that's why I think Jesus said, um, Jesus, right? Till death do you part, right? Is that right? Or maybe that
I think that's just something that man
I know that
wrote.
we say, but no, I think that was something Jesus. I'm gonna have to look it up. I think it's something he said in one of the
That's it.
Gospels.
Did he ever
Um,
marry anybody?
no.
No?
Do you mean
Okay.
like was he an officiant?
Jesus Christ.
Is that what you meant?
Well, I mean, did he ever officiate a wedding?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I
You were
don't think
saying.
he did.
I don't know. Anyways,
I don't think he
that's
did.
such a rabbit hole.
You
So
know I got to
anyway,
ask that question.
so clarity creates connection, and drifting creates distance in a marriage. So
Yes.
clarity creates connection, and drifting creates distance.
Yes. Yes.
I
It's
can
not.
see that looking back at our marriage.
Yeah, we did. We got busy. We got busy from day one that we got married. Heck, our honeymoon wasn't for what, 6 weeks after we got married?
Yeah, and then I think I slept like 48 hours. I was so exhausted.
Yeah. We went to my brother's condo up in Arkansas,
Yeah.
and you slept for like a day and a
I
half.
don't know what happened, and I've done that twice.
Every time,
Anytime,
no, it's not twice. It's every time we go on
I
vacation.
think it's only twice. I think it was the time we went to on that honeymoon, but then it was also when we went to Galveston. I
Yeah.
slept and slept and slept, and I think it was because my body was like, okay, I can finally relax.
Yeah,
I
think
had been
so.
so stressed in what we had been through, what I had just come through, and I think my body was just like, I'm safe. I'm going to sleep. I'm going into hibernation.
Yes,
And I felt bad because it was our
absolutely.
honeymoon and I was over here sleeping.
Like snoring, man.
Did
Snoring,
that hurt your
snoring.
feelings?
No, I was
Tell
expecting
the
it.
truth. Tell the truth. Did it hurt your feelings?
No, it didn't hurt my feelings at all. You needed the rest, you got the rest. It kind of
You're
freed
so
me up.
much nicer than me. I would have been like, what are you doing? I would have been like,
Well,
oh my gosh.
yeah, just shows you the better person is in this
Right,
relationship.
exactly. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, yeah.
Uh,
So I see, looking back, because I mean, we hadn't even been married very long, and that I
yeah,
was already seeing that distance between us, or that
yeah,
that drifting was causing this distance, and it's not like intentional. It's not like we were
right.
intentionally drifting. We just had different visions and different
Right.
purposes going on in our life.
Absolutely. Well, we started out married. I think I stayed home for what, that weekend?
Yeah, right.
Like maybe a week.
Yeah, because we went to like brunch the next day,
Yeah, I went to brunch
and
next
then
day
we
out
both
that
went to work the
winery.
next day.
And then I drove to Oklahoma, I believe is where I went
I
to.
don't think so. I think you were still like in Dallas or Shreveport
Yeah,
or something
maybe.
around here. But anyway, it was all of it's kind of just jumbled up together in my mind because of all the trauma of the last
Whew,
couple years of
it's
our
been
life.
rough,
But
man.
I just remember that we were not on the same page, and
Yes.
it wasn't like we were fighting. It was just like, I don't think we had really come together and said, okay, how do we decide what the vision is for our
Sorry about
marriage,
that.
and what do we think that God is doing? Because there's, Habakkuk says, write the vision and make it plain.
Yes,
It awaits an appointed time.
absolutely.
And a lot of people talk about that when they're talking about vision casting and goal setting and all this stuff. And
Yes.
I'm not a person who sits around and makes up goals that I know I'm not going to do. I'm not that kind of person, but I'm also not the kind of person who just wants to wander around aimlessly either,
Right.
right?
Well, it's always good to have some direction as where you're going. That way you're not confused. You get there, you're like, how in the world did I get here?
It was an accident,
It was an accident. And
Yeah.
you're like, I meant to go this way for a reason.
Yeah,
So
because
write it
God,
down.
I think, and it's because God gave you kind of this,
Right.
like with Abraham, when God sends Abraham into his promised land, but he doesn't know, he's walking around the boundaries of what's going to be Israel, but
Yes.
he doesn't know that. All he
Absolutely.
knows is God said, go this direction.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what we have with our vision and the purpose of our marriage is, okay, we know God's saying go this direction.
Right.
Let's do our best to honor that, and let's build some what next steps that we think God wants to take, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right? Does that
I agree
sound
with you. I
okay?
totally
So I would say what we're really trying to say is that many marriages aren't broken, but they're direction.
right. I agree with you. Well, I think that from the get go, from the day one, I think that here's what married couples to do, especially in the new age we live in now, where divorce is like what 75% of America, 55%.
They say it's like in the 50s, but I feel like it's higher than
I do
that.
too because everybody I know is
I
divorced.
know
Yeah,
almost everybody I know has
yeah.
been divorced.
But I think that couples that get married, they need premarital counseling,
Hmm.
and then they need to sit down together and they need to say something. I mean, now I'm being hypocritical because Shay and I did not do this at all.
Yeah, and we paid for it
And we
too.
paid for it, yes. But I'm not saying make a marriage contract, but write down on a piece of paper a goal that you guys want.
We're going to talk about some of those areas in
Financial
just a minute.
stability or
Yeah,
whatever it is, write down that goal. And when you feel like you're moving away from that goal, then you come together and you say, okay, we're drifting.
we're drifting.
What are we doing wrong? And how do we fix it?
Yeah, this makes
It's
me want to.
easily fixable.
Well, this makes me want to pull out our chart that we did at
Yeah.
uh,
Marriage, alter,
our reboot
reboot.
thing,
Reboot.
because that's what we did. Essentially, at the end of it, we had created
Yeah,
what we felt like. Okay, this is what God is saying. This is our purpose, and this is what we
absolutely.
need to center our marriage around and our life around.
Yes.
And it really helped kind of define the direction for us, so that we weren't just wandering around aimlessly in circles.
Yes.
So we want to help couples,
Keep them focused.
yeah, keep them focused,
Hmm.
help you pause, reflect, and ask the deeper question, which is, are we building the same life, or
Yeah.
are we just sharing the same house? Ooh,
Yes.
that's
Absolutely.
hard.
Yes. I think that it protects couples during the hard seasons too, where just like you and I, we were financially strapped almost from the beginning.
Yeah,
We walked
we
into
were.
this, we were in love, we were happy, and then when we got married, we're like, holy crap, we had like $12 to our name. So you were working hard, and so was I. But when I was
Yeah.
traveling, I was eating it up out traveling.
Yeah, you were
So
having to spend money on hotels and food and all
hotels and
that
food
and
and
gas.
everything. But I think that during the hard season, communication is the most important thing that you can have. And I'm not talking about just over the phone.
Hmm.
Come together as a couple, sit down and talk, get some time away from your kids if you already have kids, and say, you know what? I don't feel close to you anymore. I
Yeah.
don't feel like we're one anymore. We got to do something to fix that because I love you. And I don't want to be away from you like
I
that
feel like we're
anymore.
we're stepping on our own toes, because I'm sitting here
Oh,
thinking,
yeah.
is how many nights are we sitting here watching otters on TV?
Okay, so let's get on the honor thing right quick, okay? Because this is great. So for the last week, I'm ex-military and we've been focused on Iran and
Yeah.
Somalia and all that stuff and
Venezuela and
Venezuela,
yeah.
which was crazy. But we were fixated on that. And I come in the living room or the den one day and Shay's in there watching otters on TV. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's
They're
like, "I'm
so
watching the
cute.
otters." And I'll tell you, it became an episode that I watched too. And then we watched another one. And then we watched another one. So now when we get stressed out, we watch this little
I'm like,
YouTube
okay.
channel called Otter TV or
Yeah,
something like
I'm like,
that.
let's stop watching, what's going on in
Yeah,
Iran or the protests in Minnesota or whatever. Let's watch an otter thing. Because, like,
right.
for all of a sudden, I can feel like the dopamine in my brain release when I watch because
Absolutely.
they're so stinking cute.
Yep. And another thing is, and like I said, we both said we're being totally hypocritical right now because
Right.
we haven't done any of these things. But put the phone down.
Uh,
Put the phone down. We got to
yeah.
put the phone down because the phone takes up 80% of your time.
I think once a week, and I think this
Yeah.
is so easy that any couple could do this. You could say, okay, on Monday nights,
Yeah.
we're going to put our phones down, and for an hour, we're going to talk to each other, and we're going to reevaluate. We're going to check in with each other, but maybe even reevaluate where, like you said a minute ago, are we drifting? Like, are we on
Yeah.
the same page? Where are we with our finances? Where are we with our health? What are we doing in this area? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think it's so, and maybe like once a quarter, get away and actually really, for a couple days,
Well,
have
it's
some fun,
normal.
but talk about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's normal for the man to get tunnel vision and think,
Mhm.
I'm the man of the house. I got to work.
Yeah.
I don't worry about what we have in the bank. Like all I do is make the money. My wife has to handle 99% of everything else.
Yeah.
We focus on money, money, money. We focus on work, work, work. But we never pay attention to what's in the bank. And when you come together that once a week, I think it should be more than that. But if you guys start out once a week, that's fine. So, but come together and say, okay, pull up your finances, pull up your bank account, pull up your spending, and say, okay, this is what we have. This is what we had before we started spending, and this is what we have now.
Oh goodness,
And we've
that's not
got to
gonna be.
slow
I could see
down.
some women just like
Well, they're shrinking in
turning
their
this
chair
off.
right now
Yeah, because
because
they're like,
women
like I don't want
now
my husband to know I just ordered 8,000 things from Amazon.
it was bad for a
Hey,
while.
it was Christmas. Okay, in my
Man,
defense.
uh, yeah. I got 3 things from Amazon for Christmas for her, and she got like 8,000 packages. I mean, they were coming in even after Christmas.
Well, a lot of that was because of my other business, and I needed materials and
Yeah,
products.
and
Anyway.
then the grandbaby's
Mhm,
granddaughter's birthday was
mhm,
this so
mhm.
her birthday is like the 28th,
No, it's January 3rd.
January 3rd. We had the
Mhm.
birthday in. Yeah.
We had it on.
So
Yeah.
she gets a Christmas present and a birthday present, and it's just kinda like, "Good lord."
Yeah, there's boxes
Yeah,
everywhere. There's trash
right.
everywhere. We're still cleaning up wrapping paper, I think. Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think a lot of women were just like turning this podcast off when they heard anything about, oh, let's sit down and talk about our
Mhm.
finances with our spouse
Yeah.
because there's a lot of lying going on. There's a lot of hiding, which
So
is
much
probably, which I'm not
lying.
gonna lie, I've done it before.
You lied to
I
me
don't do
about
it
it?
with you because you don't care.
I don't care.
But I'm gonna tell you, in a past marriage, I would be like, I didn't necessarily lie. It was omission.
You forgot to tell him that, like, "Oh,
It was
yeah."
omission.
And then when you're asked about it, you're like, "I told you. I completely told you." Totally gaslighting person. Yeah, I've been there.
No, I didn't do that. I would just,
Yeah.
not bring it up.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that to you.
No,
I
you
think I've
haven't.
always been kinda like, "Okay, I need money to spend this."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have. So,
Um, but yeah, that could definitely be a point of contention, and
you sure
probably if
could.
if it's causing such an issue that you don't want to talk about with your spouse, that means there's some deception, and you need to talk about it, and there's an issue.
Well, you
You
need to
know.
have it at a time when you say, "Okay, no arguing." There needs to be a buffer zone in between this
Mm,
because money is a very, very tense subject. It's a very, very picky subject, very sticky. You can't go into it and get mad at a spouse for overspending on something. You're adults. You
yeah.
got to be adults. You got to act like adults. And adults say, okay, John, you spent $4,000 on a lift kit for your truck when we had $5,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
That's
It does happen.
horrible.
So
It
sometimes
happens.
men's little toys are way more expensive than women's.
Oh yeah, I got
Sometimes.
my tools out there. I got a lot of money in my tools out there. So, but if you find out what they done, you say, okay, This is what we got. And I don't think we have never argued about money.
Well, we've been in such dire straits that
We haven't had any money to argue about.
well, but it just became like, I think we need to file bankruptcy type
Yeah.
conversations. I don't
But
know,
God got us through it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it was horrible, but
yeah.
yeah, that's
But
not really
it's
an
really
area we
important not
fight
to
about.
argue about money. Come together, put your heads together and say, okay, this is what we've got to do to get through. And the man and the woman have to stay with that plan. And if they get
Yeah.
out of bounds, then they sleep on the couch. Just kidding. Totally just kidding. But then if they get out of bounds, then you come together again and say, okay, you didn't keep your word. You're my husband or you're my wife, and I'm depending on you to be honest with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, so that's definitely an area that
yes.
couples need to be talking about. It's going to reveal other
Right.
underlying, because it's really not about the money, it's about control, probably.
Absolutely.
So, or lack of control in somebody's.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but most couples don't sit down and decide to grow apart. They just stop deciding
Right.
where they're going.
Right. And you've got to choose a direction. You got to choose a direction that you want to go together.
Hmm.
Say you guys want to have $10,000 in savings for expenses. Say that you both want. Say one person wants to go to one church, and another person wants to go to another church. We've had that a couple,
Yeah.
but we never argue about it. You ultimately you get your way.
You always concede, and I don't necessarily want you to concede. I
Yeah.
want you to really tell me how you feel, but you
Right.
love me so much that you're just like, well, I just want to do whatever you want. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I want. I want you to be like spiritual man of the house and be like, here's what I
Well,
feel like God's saying,
well, I
you
don't
know?
really feel pulled to any significant
Yeah,
church.
and that's what you always say. And then I'm like, well, dang it, okay. I guess then
Right.
we just have to make this decision together. And,
Right.
and like right now, we kind of just landed on this where we are right now.
And I
And
like it there.
yeah,
That
we
last
do.
sermon
I
last
mean,
weekend was spot on, man. It hurt
yeah,
my
it was.
feelings.
And you
It
weren't
was.
even there because you were
I
sick.
watched it
But
on TV. Yeah, I was. But anyway, and another big thing is parenting, and then
Mhm.
exhaustion. You got to give your parent. You've got to give the spouse time to have rest. There is nothing wrong with a man and a wife having a newborn baby, and that man take that baby for the day and take care of that baby, clean that baby, wash that baby, take care of that baby while the mother gets some rest.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
nothing wrong with it, and that's what a real man does. And ladies, you can't get, you can't depend on the man to do it all. If your husband comes home from working an 18-hour shift, you can't expect him to be happy when he walks in the door. He's
That's
tired.
such a hard season when you have
Yeah, it
little
is.
kids
Oh
and
God,
you're
thank God we don't have
as the
little kids.
wife, because I'm going to tell you from the woman's perspective normally, and I'm not trying to be a feminist. I'm not trying to be like, woe is to all women, we have it so hard. We're so blessed compared to
We
other
are blessed,
nations, and
very.
like these Iranian women, what they've been through.
Yeah.
But with a woman in our culture, it typically takes two women or two sorry, a man and a woman working, right?
Uh-huh.
Not two women. I guess it could be two women. A
We're
man
in
and
that
then
age
wife,
now.
husband and wife both working to support the family, right?
Yeah.
Well, usually what happens, because by default, women are just natural, nurturing. They're going to take care of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what happens.
Right.
It's very abnormal, very rare do you see. It does happen sometimes, but typically women are going to try. And then they also have, the instinct is that I want my house to look a certain way. I want it,
Yes.
and then there's the pressure of, okay, I need to cook. And I mean, I had all these pressures when I was younger and Allie was
Yeah.
a baby and stuff. I felt so exhausted because I would get up early, have to feed her, whatever, get her to daycare, go to work all day, pick her up, come home, cook dinner, somehow try to work out, fit church
Right.
into it. I was also involved and I was worship leading. I had to do that. And then I had a ministry. I don't know how I did it.
Well, that's when you guys got to come together and have an outline. Okay, I'll take the baby to work. Or I'll take the baby to daycare in
Yeah.
the mornings. I'll get her up and I'll get her dressed. You will pick her up from daycare around 5 p.m. or whatever time it is.
Yeah. And no, that never
You'll pick
happened. It
her
was
up.
always me.
Right. And then that's where the lack of communication comes out. And that's where you start drifting. You start going in different
Well, you start
directions.
getting angry
Yeah.
and you start getting
Resentful.
resentful towards the
Yeah.
other person. And I realize that, like you just said, a lot of men, and I still believe this. Yes, there's a lot of women in high-powered executive level jobs, or
Mhm.
just even normal jobs that are super stressful. A lot of men run companies, and especially like in your world, in
Yeah.
the mortgage lending industry where I'm at, it's mostly men.
Right. It
And
is.
I realize the stress level is extremely high. And when you guys get off, you don't want to come home and have to like oh, great, now I have to take care of a baby and cook dinner. And well, nobody does. The woman doesn't want to either. So there
Right.
has to be like this shared,
Well, and
you
that's
know?
why whenever, because you work from home, and I know you're busy all throughout the day. That's why when I come home from work, I don't expect anything to be cooked.
Yeah, but that's not fair to you. You're
Yeah, it is
hungry.
because I'm out of the house working.
Yeah,
I can eat
but
a sandwich. I mean, I'm good with sandwich potato chips. I'm all
but
right
my
with
the
that.
flexibility in my schedule usually allows me to cook. Do I
Right.
always do it? No,
Well,
we
that's
know
why I
that.
said I'm flexible with it.
Yeah.
I'm flexible. If you got something made, hey man, that is fantastic. If you don't, I'll eat a sandwich. Don't get
Well,
mad at your spouse if she works full time too, taking care of a baby and taking
Well, I
care of a
think
job.
that's where you've got to, as a couple, come together and go, listen, during the week, I'm so stressed out and crazy. Can we take Sunday afternoons and meal prep together? Or
Right.
can you watch the kids while I meal prep on Sundays? That way we don't
That's
have this
right.
situation.
Or can the
That's
grandparents watch the baby while
it,
we
something.
get together? You can't forget that part. Just saying, it's important.
Right, right. Got to pencil that in somehow.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
every other Wednesday or something, at least.
I know it's hard. And I remember those years. And they drag on. And it feels like, am I ever going to have a life again? Am I ever going to be able to breathe? And we're in a different season because we don't
We
have that
are.
anymore. But we still have that feeling of there's so much to do and not enough time to do it. It always feels that way. I don't care what
Absolutely.
season of life you're in. You're gonna feel probably like I don't have enough time in the day to do what I need to do, and
Yes.
it can just be so overwhelming. So I think that's why it's so important to come together like at least once a week and talk about that kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. I know it seems so mundane, but it's almost like, okay, let's have our business marriage business meeting. I
Yes.
mean, think about it. Like I have worked remotely for
For
the last 5 or 6 years,
yeah.
and most of the places I work, not where I'm at now, but some of the places I've worked, we were had mandatory meetings where we would have to jump into Zoom or we would jump into whatever platform we were using. And if you weren't on there, you got in trouble. But you know what? That stuff, it was annoying, but it was great because it was like reminders, it was
Yes.
accountability, and it was like, oh, your business is not growing because you're not doing anything. Like, here's the things you need to be doing. Here's what you said you were going to do. Here's what we do. It's like a reminder.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes we kind of neglect that part of marriage.
We do. We do. We neglect it a lot because we get so caught up in the world.
Yeah,
I
sure,
agree.
sure.
And then when you start drifting like that, what happens? You become roommates. Shay and I were like that for about a year, right?
Roommates with benefits.
Room- yeah, buddy. Best of both worlds. No, we became roommates. I'd come home
Yeah.
from work. We'd be
Oh
married.
my gosh, I
Yeah,
remember when you were working 12 hours, but you were having to drive to either Dallas
4 or
or
5 hours
Shreveport
driving.
or somewhere in Louisiana.
Yeah,
You would have to leave in the morning like 4,
yeah,
and then you would work a 12-hour shift, and
right.
then you would come home, and you wouldn't get home till 8. I
Hmm.
would see you for an hour.
Yeah.
And we were so tired by the time you got there,
Oh God, it
and
was
we
exhausting.
were like newlyweds.
Yeah, we were.
It was so hard, and I really think even then it was starting to happen,
Well,
you know?
I think that your persistence and our communication is what saved us. Because you stayed true, you stayed the course. Even when I was all caught up in how strenuous it was about trying to find work. Being a contract nurse is hard because you don't always have a job. But
Mm.
you know, both of us communicated with each other. We tried. We fell short, and we did become roommates for a
Well,
while.
the hard thing was though with that kind of work and lifestyle is
If I burped, I'm sorry. Go
when
ahead.
you do have a day off, you're so dang tired
Yeah.
that you can't even, and then you have, oh my gosh, I gotta mow the yard, I need to do this, I need to do that. So it's like even when you
Speaking of
were
that,
off, it
yeah,
was like, oh my gosh, we have 2 hours to be together this week. So
right.
it's not conducive to a healthy marriage. And I just want
It
to
is
say,
not.
like, if I think I'm gonna throw this out there to people and pray about it and everything. Of course, God may have something better for you
You may.
in your marriage, and I think if you're willing to take a chance and you feel like this is not working, this is not, it's making our marriage unhealthy.
Mhm.
Like, pray about, could God possibly have something better for you that doesn't require you to be away from your family all the dang time.
Right. Being away during the day is okay, but being away for weeks at a time is not. Now, I understand that you probably the oil field's big in this area, so I'm sure
Hmm.
that wives have husbands or husbands have wives that work out in the
Yeah,
oil
let me
field.
tell you where that leads to.
Don't.
No, no, no. I'm just going to say working away from home in general leads
Yeah.
to infidelity. I
Sometimes.
would love to see the stats on it. I'll have to pull them, but I'm telling you, I don't know. how many people that are in that kind of work where they travel or
Yeah.
whatever and they're gone, how many of them probably have affairs? I mean, really.
I don't know. I have no idea
I
about
think it's
that.
probably a lot more than we realize.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Whether it be
Especially,
loneliness, whether it be whatever,
yeah,
it's just it's not healthy for people to not for couples to not be together.
it is not healthy. You can't feed yourself if you don't have the one there who helps you.
And you're not sharing a vision, you're not sharing a purpose if you're
Mm-mm.
not together.
No
I'm not
way.
saying there can't be a season where, like, I don't know, for 6 months we have to do this and it's really hard and we hate it. But if it's dragging on, you might just pray and say, Lord, is there something better that would work for our
Well, he
family? Because
completely turned my career around 180.
yeah, and
You know, I am too.
I'm so glad that we were open to, especially you, because you're the one that had made the decision of, is there something else God could be leading me into? And you kind of had to stumble your way into it. It took you a while. Honestly, you didn't really realize it until I threw you into that
Threw
job.
me under the bus,
No,
basically,
no,
is
on
what
the
happened.
bus. I threw you
Yeah,
into
something.
position where, I think we talked about this last time, where, I needed a contractor to help me with something because of a loan I was working on, and you jumped. I actually said, I told the realtor that you could do it,
Yeah,
and you were like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know why I just said that. It just flew out of my mouth." It's because God was like, "This is where I want him,
yeah,
and this
absolutely.
is what works for our family."
And we have been blowing and going ever since.
Yeah, and you love it and you're
I
happy.
absolutely
So
love
I
it.
think that if you're miserable in your job, it's messing your marriage up. Pray about let God could be
Yeah.
leading you into something
Well,
else.
God needs to be in it from the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
If you get an opportunity to have a new job, even if it's more money, take a moment to pause and
Yeah.
look at the pros. I guarantee you, if there's a pro to it, there's a con.
Yeah.
And weigh those two together. And like I said, communicate with your spouse about what it is, because there's always something to it. There's always a hitch to making more money. You just guys got to look deep into
Yeah,
that and
you
figure
gotta
out
sell
where it
your soul
is.
sometimes, unfortunately.
Sometimes,
And sell
sometimes,
your marriage and
yeah,
you know.
right. But there's a cost to not having a shared vision. And one of the main things that I don't think we really ever had was the emotional disconnection part of it.
I do think we had that.
You do think so? Hmm. I'm probably disconnected most of the time anyway.
Well, I think yours had more to do with like PTSD
Yeah.
and some of that area. You were emotionally not regulated, so you were
Right.
disconnected me in some areas
I
and doing
wasn't
other
on
things.
meds.
Well, you were doing other things to deal with it, and instead
Right.
of connecting with me or being
Right.
healthy about it, you didn't know. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, not having a shared vision definitely causes you guys to be disconnected
It
for
does.
sure
It
because you're
really
not on the same
does.
page.
Right.
You don't
You
even
know.
have the same values. You don't even have the same purpose. Why
Well, you're
would
not
you?
sharing the same household. You're not sharing a life together. All you're
Uh-uh.
doing is being roommates and walking around saying, "Okay, I'm ready to go to bed. You coming?" "No, I'm wide awake."
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be the most connected to each other. Absolutely.
Another cost of not having a shared vision is repeating the same argument. Oh my God, yes, like just fighting about the same stupid
Yes.
thing over and over and over and over.
Well, you know, the enemy runs around like a roaring lion,
Mm,
looking at who he can devour. And think about it. What's the best way to get a couple to argue? Yeah, you know what? He didn't wash the dishes 2 weeks ago.
mm,
And I'm still mad about that. He made me mad today, so I'm going to remind him about what happened 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
Or
right.
she didn't wash my favorite shirt a month ago, and I had to wear a
Hmm.
different shirt. It's all petty. It's all petty.
Yeah, but it's the under. We talked about this, like what's under the surface, a
Yeah,
couple episodes back.
yeah,
Feeling unseen or misunderstood is a
absolutely.
huge cost of not having a shared vision for
Yes,
sure. Because maybe, like if one person feels like they don't have a part to play or they
yeah,
just feel like their contribution doesn't matter. I've seen this a lot in men that are very, very powerful or maybe even pastors or they're just like really popular or famous. It's almost like the woman doesn't even exist.
right,
And she's
absolutely.
just kind of disposable and not that important. And I just wonder, like how hard that must be to carry that, to feel like you're not seen or you're
Right.
misunderstood all the time.
Yeah, that's an issue that I know men have a really hard time with it, and I do it to you all the time. Sitting in the living room and we're talking,
And
and
you
all
don't
of a
listen.
sudden I'm starting to read something on my phone, and then you're continuing to talk to me, and I'm going, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah. I was like, I didn't know that you shot a bird out of a tree, and you're like, that is not anywhere near the same
Same thing I
neighborhood of what
just
I was. I,
said.
I said I went to church today. That's what I said. No, you
I'm
didn't.
almost
Yeah.
like, dude, do we need to check your your brain? Like, did you hear what I just said? Like,
Yeah, just cut
right.
out the distractions
Well, I
and
almost
stay
want to take
emotionally
you and get in
together.
your face and go, "Did you hear what I listen to me? Listen like a little kid. Listen to me."
Yeah, right. Too funny. And that goes into feeling unseen.
Yeah.
Is that like you can be an invisible person in your house. I was a while back. I was unseen. As long as my presence was felt and I wasn't heard, it was fine. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of happy
That's
with
not a
this.
marriage.
It's not a marriage; it's a dictatorship.
Yeah, and that's not a
So
healthy place to be,
it really
obviously.
isn't. It
Um,
really is.
let's talk about the 5 areas that every couple needs a
Yeah,
vision
let's do
in,
that.
because I think that these, like, if you were a really smart person, okay,
Right.
and you really were serious about, okay, I want my marriage in 2026 to be way better than it has been. I want
Absolutely.
to I want us to be on the same page. I want to create, I want us to create the vision, or really understand the vision God
Yeah.
has for our life. We have to understand that there's different areas that you're going to
Yes.
need to address
Right. And one of those is what do we want as a couple? What do we want?
for our marriage. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
number one is going to be like, okay, we need to have a vision for our marriage.
Right. It's not a material. It's what do we want as a couple? What do we want to do as a couple? Maybe it is material. I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think it's like, what kind of marriage do we want?
Yeah.
So, what I think for
I want to
me,
be that couple.
I want to be, what do you mean by that?
I want to be the couple that everybody looks at and say, I want to be like y'all.
Because they're happy and in love, or
Yes,
what?
because we're happy, we're in love, we listen to each other, we're both satisfied in our
We
marriage,
laugh.
we communicate, and
Hmm.
we're just when people get together, they can feel it and they can see it. That's what I strive to
Hmm.
be as a husband.
Yeah, I think so too. And nothing that you said in that had anything to do with, I want us to have a lot of money. I want us
Mm-mm.
to
Nah,
be
money's not
popular. I
important.
want us to be like whatever. It was more about genuine, like, fulfillment and happiness.
Now, I still do want that motorcycle. I'm just saying, but that's not part of the marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But now and then when it comes down to family,
Like yeah. So number one is family. You've got to decide. I'm sorry. Number one is marriage. You've got to decide what kind of marriage you want.
right?
And this, honestly, as we're getting into this is what we do with people with the marriage reboot. This is what we take you
Yeah,
through. Is
absolutely.
these areas, not exactly these, but they're very similar. Okay, yeah. Number two is family.
Right. You got to have the same parenting values.
That's tricky because
It is. My
mm,
dad was heavy-handed.
mm-hmm.
My mother was heavy-handed. So they agreed on that part. Beat us, but
Sorry, it's not
but
slap
but
them. Yeah.
my mom would always, if she saw it going too far, she would step up and say, "Hey, let
Mm.
me step in." I'm just kidding. She would come in and she
Tag
would
team.
break.
I'm just kidding.
You rest your arm while I take mine over. But yeah,
No, I'm saying like
no,
WWF wrestling when they
yeah,
slap
right.
the
The
other
tag,
person
yeah,
in.
yeah. Like
Sorry.
nobody wanted to tag on me because I was the one getting beat. But
I'm sorry.
no, it's a pretty funny picture. But I'll just talk about train of thought. But you've got to come together. You're gonna have to agree on the discipline of the family.
Right.
Um, I don't agree with that whole timeout thing. I mean, I don't agree with that. But if it works for you and your husband, if that's the way y'all want to parent and that's the way y'all want to discipline your children, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you've
You
got
gotta
someone
agree.
and you guys agree that, you know what, if you mess up, I'm gonna come whip your butt. That's
Hmm.
that's just the rules of the house. Mama, you guys support him, and Daddy, you guys support her.
And a great example of this is because since you and I are older, our kids are grown.
Yeah.
We have grandkids. And
Yeah.
so one day, one of our grandson was over here and he was being a brat
He
and
was.
he was not listening to me.
And don't respect
And
Shabby
I
in my
was getting
house.
I was getting worried because I could see that you were getting worked up, like, and I knew you were about to put the hammer down,
Yeah.
and I was like scared, but you put the hammer down and
I
I
did
think
that
you
a gentle
spanked him a
way.
little bit.
I tapped him on the butt. There was
And
no loud clap.
he cried like you broke his heart, but then
I told him, "You're
you
gonna
said
eat," and he's
you're
like,
gonna eat that, and
"Okay."
he's okay, and he ate whatever it was, like chicken
Well,
nuggets or
check it out. He
whatever.
had asked for them.
He had been arguing with me and fighting and being a little brat for, I
Hmm.
don't know, 30 minutes about
Yeah.
it. And that's when I backed off and I was like, okay, I'm going to let you do what, like, I needed to back you up in that because it was the right thing to
Right.
do, you
But you know
know?
what? I watched his dad. I watched Dre with him, and Dre is a fantastic parent.
Yeah.
I love the way that Dre and Allie take care of those babies. Dre
Hmm.
doesn't spank him unless he needs it. He walks up to him, he gets in his face, and he's like, "Okay, look at me." You ask for that, you're going to eat that. You won't get
Mhm.
anything else. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that kind of patience.
Patient. Yeah.
I wish I did.
I know, but him and Allie are on the same page in the way that they parent. They've done a really good job
Yeah.
with that. The next one is like boundaries
Oh
with your
my
extended family. This right
God.
here
It's been
can
a
make or
crux in
break a
our side
marriage.
forever. It
Well, I
really
mean, because
has.
like I see this so much more,
Yeah.
mostly in women. So
Yeah.
like, here's the worst thing that you can do in your marriage is if you have a situation between you and your spouse, and I'm not talking about a life-threatening one. I'm talking about you guys are, arguing, or there's I'm not talking about these they're beating you or something
Don't go to
serious, but
mom.
like to constantly go back and tell your mother or your sister or whatever about all your problems in your marriage. Listen, that is a boundary that doesn't need to be
And
crossed.
well, that's just a sacred thing that stays inside
Yeah.
the walls of your house, man. Once you get your mother involved in an argument between you and your husband, the mother's not going to like you anymore, because
And
she thinks that you mistreating her daughter
yeah.
or her son. And it's just not a cool thing. So,
It's a real fine line to walk because I've been there where I should have talked to someone and I
yeah,
didn't. I tried to cover up what the
right,
other person was doing. So I don't I mean, but you have to be careful and you have to have some wisdom. You need someone to talk to. It just probably isn't your family.
right.
You need a friend. You
I
need
agree.
someone that you can trust, right?
Agreed, agreed,
Um, but
agreed.
those are the areas you need to talk about. Okay, family wise, let's talk about how we parent. Let's talk about how we create boundaries with our extended family.
Let's talk about fate.
Yeah. So number three is
Because
faith.
to me, that's the most important part of
Yeah.
a
So
marriage.
number one was marriage. Number two is family, and then the area of faith.
Yeah.
How do we want faith to show up in our
Well,
marriage?
there are some couples out there who are happy going to church once a month,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie. I haven't been the best at going to church
And
lately.
no one should really um, bring judgment on them for that. If they
If
agree
that
on that and
works,
that's how
right.
they feel like this is what we feel like God is telling us. I feel like, and I'm just going to say this, I feel like you and I get judgment from people
We do.
because they don't agree with the way that we have, I
Right.
guess, kind of floated around between churches trying to figure out. I was doing it before you and I met,
Yeah.
floating around for, I don't know, 7 years trying
Well,
to
I just
figure
wasn't going
out.
to church.
Yeah,
Man.
you weren't going
I
at
was written
all. And
off
then
of
I
it.
went through a phase where I was only going like once a month
Yeah.
because I was so messed up and hurt from the church
Yeah.
that I needed some time. And I even feel like now people still judge me. I know they are. I know they're saying things about me. They're like, "Oh, she's flighty." No, it has nothing to do with that.
Mm-mm.
It
If
is
it doesn't fit, why go?
yeah, if it's not if I feel like the Lord is saying, and I can hear the Lord, okay? If I feel like he's saying in this moment or in this season right now, this is what I want you to do. My
Right.
allegiance is to him,
Absolutely. Well,
you
if you're a
know?
size 42 and you put on a pair of size 30 underwear, it's going to hurt. You know, you got to try different pairs of underwear on.
Where did
I mean,
that come from?
I just thought it up. Isn't that crazy?
A
But
size
yeah,
42 and a 30.
I mean, it's going to look weird, and you're going to stand
Yeah.
out because you'll be like, I'm hurting really bad right now.
Yeah.
But if you're that uncomfortable at a church, man, don't go because you're not getting the
Well,
message.
it's a real it can be a real challenging thing to discern whether it's your flesh fighting and not wanting to be there, or
Right.
if it's like God saying no. And sometimes you have to keep going a few times to discern whether it's just you being ridiculous or if it's
Right.
God. And I think with us, I think our flesh, I think with us, we would prefer to be home. We don't like being in large crowds. Neither one of us do. We're
No,
both traumatized by things. We
absolutely.
would prefer to not have to interact with a lot of people because we're introverts.
Right.
So we have to be real careful that we don't always spiritualize it and be like, I just feel like we need to stay home spiritually. Maybe we don't. Maybe we actually need to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Well, I get convicted if
Yeah.
I've been out for a while. I get convicted.
Because definitely you do need the body of Christ. But what is the body of this is a whole podcast episode somebody could do about what really is the body of Christ, because I
Right.
don't think it looks like what we think it looks like. It doesn't
I
have
don't
to
think so.
be, this experience where I go to this little box and we all meet there together
Right.
in this building in this box,
And we feel
and
Jesus.
we sing 3 songs, and
Right.
then the pastor preaches a sermon and everything is hinged on the sermon and nothing else matters,
Right.
and everybody kind of worships the pastor because that's the only person that can hear God. That is not church.
Welcome to New Age religion. Welcome to it. 'Cause that's what it is now. They worship the pastor and not the
I
praise
mean,
for
when
the
you look
God.
at the early church, that is not what they
No,
did.
the Holy Spirit will kill you. if you did it
I mean,
wrong.
when they got together, it says that one person had a song, one person had a scripture, one
Yeah,
person had an exhortation, one person had a prophecy, one per like it was so just collective, and
yeah,
everybody had a part to play, and it
absolutely.
wasn't this super um, stiff
It wasn't scripted.
scripted thing,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And so you and I, we kind of like that more. We would rather be in that kind of
Right.
environment, but sometimes finding that environment is hard,
It is hard, but
you
that's where
know?
communication steps in, and you have to say, okay, let's go to this church this week,
Yeah.
and that comes down to being the spiritual leader of the family.
Sometimes I just tell you, please just make the decision for us
Right,
because I
right,
can't. I'm so exhausted from trying to figure this out.
right. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that our marriage is we have equal say so in everything as
Hmm.
long as Shannon gets her way. So I'm just kidding. I'm
I
just
think that
kidding.
was a passive aggressive remark.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously though, you can be the spiritual leader of the family, and you can also give your wife or your wife a voice.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a dictator, because just because you're married to one doesn't mean you're a dictator of the house. If you think you are, you've got problems. You need
Yeah.
counseling.
Yeah. True.
But you have to sit down and you have to include your wife in the choice of where you guys want to go. And then once you make a decision, you say, okay, what do you think about this church?
Hmm.
If she says she's never been, then you can say, okay, let's try it. Let's see what it's like.
Yeah.
If one of us does not like it, then it
Yeah.
doesn't make us equally yoked. We got to get away from that setting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there has to be a joint, and I think that's how God wants to work. Is He wants
Hmm.
to speak to both of you, so you collectively can make the
Absolutely.
choice. And you know what, you and I, because we were just talking about this the other day, like, are we
Yeah.
really at the right church? I mean, we do this all the time, you know? And I was like, okay, let's go back and look at what has happened while we've been at this church.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you got, like,
Too many pros.
saved, I guess, or whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it. I don't even know. I think you were already saved, but you, like, rededicated your life
I
to
had,
God.
yeah, I had a moment there.
We had,
Yeah.
like, there's so many good things that have happened there that just, I was like, okay, I'm just feeling like, why would we leave
Right.
if so many good things happen, you
Right.
know? And you're like, yeah, I think so too. So,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think that's our answer. We're just gonna dive in and do this and stop whining and complaining about
Yeah, I
it. And
think the only problem I had with, I felt like it was a concert when you first went,
sometimes it does,
and
and
I'm
that's
just kind of
that's
like, you know
almost
what?
every church though.
Yeah, it is, and that's not the way
And
it
I
should be.
hate that because I mean, there's a level of excellence that as a worship leader and as somebody who sings, I'd like. Okay, there needs to be a level of excellence, but are we worshiping worship? I mean, is that what we're doing now?
Right.
Because like I'm not okay with that. So I have
I'm
some
not
real
either.
strong opinions on that that I don't want to get into right now.
Right.
So, okay, so we have talked about where are we? Can you
We're on four
help me?
finances. We already covered that
Okay,
though.
well we did talk. Let's just kind of hit that for a second though.
Okay.
So we number one, what was it?
Financial
Fan-
peace. What is
No, I'm
financial?
sorry. The number one in this whole thing was let's the area of marriage. Two is the area of family.
Right.
Three is the area of faith. Four is the area of finances. Dun,
Finances. That's
dun,
a
dun.
taboo subject too, man. What does financial peace look like?
I think we had this conversation, but we didn't call it
We
that.
did. We had the
Because you
conversation
and
like
I,
two or three podcasts ago.
you remember last year when I told you, I said, okay, I feel like the Lord wants us to ask Him for a specific amount of money because He wants to pay all of our debt off. And
Yeah.
at first you looked at me like, what? You're like, don't we need to earn it? Don't we need to? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like He wants us to call in and pray for it. So
Yeah.
we've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We've
We
been
have been.
praying
We
for
still
it.
are.
But I'm thinking that's a vision. Like, you know
It
what I'm
is a
saying? I'm
vision.
just giving that as an example. Like, pray
Right.
about it together and say, like, okay, what is our financial vision for this next year? What do we feel like?
Right.
And for us, we want to get out of debt. We want to pay some of this dang
Absolutely.
credit card debt off. We want to build your business. We want to keep building mine, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what that looks like. And then
Yeah.
alignment on spending, savings, generosity goals.
We just covered that in the previous
Yeah.
one. We talked about coming together and talking about finance.
That's where a lot of people fight.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the fights come from, because I'm telling you, if I'll see them, there was those red-heeled shoes called
Oh, those expensive ones?
$4,000 for a pair of
Yeah,
high heels
pair
with
of
a red
shoes. Like there
spike.
are women who spend
I'm
ungodly
so
amounts of
glad
money
Shay's
on
not like
purses
this. Now
and
she ain't going to
shoes and
Walmart to buy
clothes.
her clothes.
Hey, I did buy some jeans from Walmart
Are
the
you
other day.
serious?
I did. I
What
bought a
in the
jacket. I bought
world?
some jeans. They were so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been missing. I need to come back to Walmart.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but if there's one person of the couple that is spending an enormous amount of money on things that they want,
Did you say
and
enormous?
I did say enormous, That's the
I can't.
express
I
part.
can't.
That's like the hyper expressed enormous. It's like emphasized.
Enormous.
Yeah.
It
If
sounds
it's
like a dinosaur
enormous,
name, Enormous Rex or something.
yeah. But no, if there's one part of the couple that is spending more on the things they want instead of what you need as a couple or as a household, then there needs to be a discussion about that. Don't argue. Don't argue about it. Come to that partner
Get a
with nothing but
referee,
love and
man.
respect.
Get a coach
Yeah,
involved,
yeah. That's where I kind of where I
counselor.
put into counseling there
Mm,
with that because
mm-hmm.
if that guy or that girl is dead set on doing what they want to with the money, then your communication is not going to be effective.
Mm-mm. You got to get to the root of why, of
You
the
got to
why of
dig
it, and
deep
I
for
think that's a
that.
counseling
Right.
situation, probably.
And then generosity. I am a very generous person. I will give you the shirt off my back.
You are very generous.
Salvation Army makes a fortune off of me every year between December the 15th and January
You've been digging
1st.
those pennies out, giving
Man, I'm
them.
digging out pennies. If I got $1 in my wallet, it's going to the Salvation Army,
Yeah.
you know. Because it's a good cause. People are in need. People don't always have
Yeah.
what we have for Christmas. So I'm like, okay, fine. I will donate. But don't be so generous with your money that it hurts your family. I went to a church in a small town nearby, and I think my dad told me this. He's like, there's a guy in our church who is donating his entire paycheck. Every time he gets paid, he brings it straight to the church. His
Mm.
family is starving to
Are
death.
you serious?
Yeah, his family is starving to death.
Okay, that doesn't sound like the wisdom from God.
Well, and the deacons got together with this man. He said, "Look, you're not being a good husband.
Yeah,
This
and
is not
thank
what
you.
God wants you to do. But thank you for what you're doing. We love you
No,
for it."
I'm so thankful that those deacons did what
Yeah,
they
they
did the
did.
right thing because that's their
Absolutely.
calling is to correct him in love, you know?
Absolutely. And the guy realized what he was doing, and his family became a little bit better financially. He wasn't making a whole lot of money, but but I believe in depending on God. But
Well, here's what I would say.
I lost my thought
Okay,
there.
well, a man is responsible for his
Yeah,
family. So
absolutely.
God has an expectation on you that he doesn't have on me. And if you as a husband are not taking care of your family in that way, that is
Yeah,
something you're gonna have to answer for. You
absolutely.
know? So I think it is a really big deal to, how do you weigh out, okay, I feel like God's calling us here,
Yeah,
but that's gonna really hurt us financially. Is this really the Lord? Pray about it, get some other people involved.
yeah,
Wise counsel other than just dragging your family through,
right.
you know,
I agree with you. I
financial
agree with you.
hardship that God may not be calling. I've seen many, many people do that.
Right. And then what do you want to pass down? What do you
Well,
want to
this is
leave?
legacy. So,
Okay, we're on finance.
oh, I thought we were
Yeah,
moving
we're on
to
legacy
legacy.
now. We're on
Yeah, so
legacy.
we've covered family, or marriage, family, faith, finances, and then legacy is the other area that we.
Legacy, what is okay, the dash in the middle between the birth and the death is the most important part of it, right? That little bitty dash
Yeah, I mean,
says
like,
everything about you that needs to be said.
what do we want our lives and marriage to stand for? And this
Right.
is something when you and I wrote our purpose statement, I'm going to dig it out
Yeah.
because what is built into our purpose statement is that we want to reflect God's heart for
Absolutely.
restoration.
Absolutely. And I think that we've done a pretty good job of that this year.
Yeah,
So far.
we want people to look at our marriage and our business and everything that we do as a unit
Yeah.
together and say, "Wow, God is a restorer.
Yeah.
Look
I
what
think
God
he
did in their
is.
life. He can
Well,
do
if
that for
we had
us."
not leaned on God immediately, or if you had leaned on God immediately after everything happened with me, I think that you wouldn't be here.
I don't know. I don't think you would be here either.
I
And
would not.
I think about that like if the devil had his way and if you actually pulled the trigger, last
Yeah.
year or 2024 actually,
For a year and a half ago.
um, you wouldn't be here. And what where would I be? I don't know if I would be.
Well, you would have lost the
I would
house.
have sold. I would have had to sell this. I probably would have lived behind my with my parents.
Can't do that. Brad
I
and Cassie are
mean,
there.
well, I mean, I would have lived in their house or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no telling where I
There's
would
no
be,
telling.
and it would have been horrible.
It would have been.
And I can't even imagine.
Right. And I will never do that again. But what do you want to pass down to your kids? What do you want to pass down? I mean, not just material stuff, but what do you want to be remembered as? Do you want to be remembered as that guy who was hot tempered and
Mhm.
harsh?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be remembered that guy as laid back? He'd go with the flow and he was always there to support you when you needed it.
Like something that Allie said to me one time, my daughter, for people who don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so she wrote a blog post or she wrote a post one day on social media, and she was talking about how she remembered growing up and how it really impacted her prayer life is that she would see me and I would be in there praying at 5 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time I had to pray because I had to go to work. And she would see me in there wrestling with God, praying, crying out, reading my Bible. And that's what she remembers.
And that's a beautiful
And
legacy.
I'm thinking like that stuff matters. Your kids are watching you.
Yeah.
They're watching not just you dragging them to church. That's great. Drag them to church. My parents drug me to church. But they are watching you, like, what are you doing every day to live out, like, your relationship with God and your spouse and, you know.
Right. They are. They're watching you, and what you do dictates how the kind of people they're going to.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
It really does. Mm.
Oof.
That was a good
Getting
subject.
getting heavy up in here.
It is. It is. But it's not, and like I said, it's not about material things. Like we know who's going
Mhm.
to get the house when we pass away. I've
Yeah.
already told you that. We already agree on that.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do with it when we're done is whatever. I'm not here. I'm in a better house in heaven. But spiritually, like Shay said, you've got to leave a spiritual legacy for them. Like I know that Allie will carry that with the rest of her life, saying, Mom's gone, but I've seen her wrestle with the Lord on many occasions before daylight even happened. And that there's beautiful.
Yeah.
That really is. That's something that it helps her foundation in the Lord.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
helps her.
And
Yeah.
when I was doing that, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking, I got to pray or I'm not going to make it today. You know what I mean? I got to ask God for a miracle today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I knew to do was to run to Him.
Yeah.
And and I mean, I guess we think that we have to teach our kids by telling them things, but really we have to teach by showing.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that really opened my eyes to how important it is. And I'm so glad that like her and Dre, they pray with the babies every night
Yeah.
when they put them
That's so
down.
beautiful. It's so
I
cute.
mean, Allie's always singing to them, and I mean, they are being raised in such a beautiful way.
I had a picture of Cohen on my phone whenever he was maybe one. He's walking with his drumsticks in the
Oh
sanctuary. He's
yes,
got
his
one up like
sups.
this and one down, and he is just air drumming the heck out of it.
Yeah, he called them sups.
Yeah, he called them sups. Yeah, and his backpack was a kickback,
Yeah,
pop
kick,
kick.
pop kick.
It was a pop kick.
Sorry,
Yeah,
the grandparent
but
mode.
but that picture was my profile on my phone for so long because it
Hmm.
just it makes you feel good knowing your grandkids are getting that daily
And he
dose
was
of
watching his
Jesus.
daddy play drums, and he
Yeah,
wanted to play drums. I think
yeah,
it's so cute.
yeah.
And Holland's putting makeup on because she watches Allie put makeup on. And when Allie was
Woo,
little,
that girl.
this is another little nugget that, as I think, a legacy that you can have is to really pay attention to your kids. Like, what are they naturally good at? What are they interested in? And push them in that direction. Because when she was 7 or 8, she became obsessed with hair and makeup.
Yeah,
And I got her this the girl that was doing my hair said, "Hey, um, does your daughter want my little mannequin head thing that that they could dye their hair, cut it, whatever?"
yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And so Allie took that and she would just fix that little thing's hair, and I mean, that's all she cared about.
Wow.
And then she became so
She was
good
very good at
at it.
her
And then
at
she
her.
ended up, of course, getting her license cosmetologist, and she's phenomenal at hair and
Yeah,
makeup. And
she
she
is.
does videos, and people are like obsessed with what her products and what she recommends and how she
Yeah.
does her makeup. So like that stuff matters. Like paying attention. That's a legacy you can have is to really be a parent that's really watching your child and making sure that you see that where God's gifted them
Mhm.
and you actually help them develop that.
Yep, absolutely.
So not only did I have the ability to develop her musically, but I was able to do that too, and that was beautiful because I got to
Yeah,
see that. So
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
building myself up here. I'm just saying I did a couple of things right with Allie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not about the plan doesn't have to be perfect. There is no perfect plan. We're not perfect
Man, just
people.
pick one of these areas and
Yeah,
just,
and
say,
and
let's
work
get
for it.
together.
Work towards it. Don't expect to always get there. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? That's not true. I expect to do everything I set my mind to. But if you
But you
don't
got
get,
to have a plan to get there,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. You got to have a plan together.
And I will say, like, I set a goal the beginning of this year, and I'm sorry, 2025,
Mhm.
and I remember when I started that year thinking, oh my God, because you weren't working.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, I don't know how we're going to make it this
Yeah.
year. And the year started off horribly. And I wasn't out pursuing leads. I wasn't trying to build my business. I was just trying to survive
Right.
and trusting God. And by the end of the year, I remember somewhere in that year, I had said to myself, I want to make X amount this year. I
Yeah.
want to hit this target. And I hit it.
Right.
Remember my
Mm.
last pay stub of
It pushed you right over
2025,
there.
it put me over my goal. And I was ecstatic
Yeah.
because it just gave me this, oh my God, I can do it.
Right.
And just creating that kind of feeling, even for your marriage
Yeah.
in certain areas. Oh my gosh, we set this goal and we really did do it. Maybe it's paying
Mhm.
off a credit card, maybe it's whatever,
Right. Absolutely.
I think, like, because you and I are going away this weekend with some friends.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great topic. We can even bring this up with our friends and be like, okay, y'all, what do y'all want to set like these areas? What's a vision you can work on in your marriage in these areas? And I want to do that with us. I want to look at these because I think you need to reevaluate them
Right.
every year.
I think you do. I think you come together. That could be your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Is before New Year's hits, sit down, say, okay, what did we do? What did we not do? And then say, okay, that's a small part
What
of it
is
that
our
we
goal?
wanted.
What are our goals this year in this area?
Absolutely.
And how can we take small steps to get there?
Absolutely. I agree with you.
I think that we're right at an hour almost, so
Yeah, I think we can close that out. This is a big episode, so we can do that other segments
yeah,
later
or if we want to,
if we want to. But I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, so sorry. I think we went a whole month without an episode.
Oh
Sorry.
gosh. Well, the holidays were
holidays.
here. And that job I was on. Oh God.
You're still on
Um,
it, yeah.
yeah.
It's
But
blessing.
I'm going to include you in the jobs I have up in Lone Star. That's
Mhm.
going to be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, guys. One thing I want to talk to you guys about is about the things that are going on in the world right now. Do not fear. If you're walking with the Lord and you're in a safe place, and you appreciate your American citizenship, because any guy who's a soldier will know that anybody overseas, especially in the Middle East, the sandbox that we always called it, would know that they have not even 1/16 of what we got here in this
Yeah, we're the
country.
richest nation in the world.
There's a lot of people who don't appreciate it. There's a lot of people out there who are saying bad things about us. But you know what? At the end of the day, they won't leave this country even though they don't like it, because they know we got more than everybody else has got. But with all the wars that we're having and the rumors, remember, this is the sign of the birth pain.
Yeah.
This is the
Right.
sign of, I'm not saying the end times are here. I'm not saying Jesus is coming back tomorrow, because he's not. I'm just saying, get your clothes ready, gird up your loins, and walk that life with God.
And I want to say real quick, you know, I have the other podcast called Grace and Grit Mindset
Yeah.
Podcast, and this week I released an episode, I call it was a prophetic episode where because God said tell them to not be afraid, and so I would just encourage you to listen to my other podcast.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes here so you can click on it.
It's a very good podcast. I've listened to it before.
Well,
And
I mean
besides that
that
sexy voice
episode.
you got, yeah, that
That
great
episode I didn't
voice.
think was gonna be good, but then when I started talking, I felt the Lord on it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is, and it's also prophetic in that I would talk about some of the things He showed me that are going on and things like that. So I encourage you to
Right.
listen to it. And definitely go to our website. It is under my name. It's ShannonWilliams.com
Yes.
/ the marriage offer,
Right.
and that's where you can see all about our marriage ministry, what we do, the kind of courses that we have, but also you can inquire about the marriage reboot that we offer. So.
Absolutely. God bless you guys. We love each and every one of you who listen, all three of you. And we hope that we can do this more often in the future. My job takes me away for most of the day during the day, but I am going to start taking weekends off. That's my New Year's resolution. No weekend work.
Yes, that is something you need to do.
I became workaholic again for the past 3 months, and I realized I had a problem. So I promised my wife and I promised the Lord that I would take the weekends off. So anyway, I love you guys. Y'all have a blessed new year. I hope you have a blessed week, and we'll try to do this more often.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
We have a love that binds, it won't be denied. It's strong.